Ben, once upon a time, Microsoft Outlook was the center of a business person's communication world. All of your emails, all of your meetings, all of your contacts, all of your to-dos, everything was kept in Outlook, where you could get to it and it was organized and it was easy. But business has changed. Business has evolved.
Yeah.
What are other ways that you communicate besides email and meetings?
We've got chat and instant message. We
Sure.
have sometimes video calls or
Sure.
maybe even just web calls. And plus now you can collaborate with someone on the other side of the world on a document. So you get a little chat inside of a document or whatever.
Right. So, and none of that really flows through Outlook. In fact, it really can't flow through Outlook because Outlook is designed to be your communication. We need a tool that helps us to share communication with others. And that's what Microsoft has built a new tool called Microsoft Teams for. Let's take a look. So this is your Office 365. If I click on Teams here for the first time, now have you used Teams before?
I have not.
So the first time you go into it, it's going to assume that you want to create a team. So in this case, to give you a sample of what you can do with Teams, let's just create our own team. Let's call it maybe Donut Fiesta Sample Team. We can give it a description if we want to. And then on the privacy, we can choose whether this is a team where only you as the team owner can add members or if anyone can join. And that's just a personal preference. If you're creating a team for, let's say the company Fantasy Football League, you might want anybody to be able to join. If it's a team for, deciding who's going to get laid off in the next round of company layoffs, probably don't want anybody to join that one.
That'll be fair. Most people would want to know.
It is true. But in this case, let's choose public. Notice I also have the link to create a team from an existing Office 365 group.
Right.
Teams is very similar to groups, but kind of on steroids. It has a lot more power than groups does. So if you have an existing group and you want to promote it to the next level, this is a way to do it. In our case, we're starting from scratch. So I'll choose next. So we have a team. Right now it's a team of one.
Yeah.
It's not much of a team.
No I in team.
So we'll add some people. Let's add me to it. And we can add George. And we'll add Jennifer. Notice that as we add each person, we have a little drop down next to their name. We can choose whether they're a member or an owner. And again, in a private team, owners are the only ones that can add members. We'll go ahead and make me an owner in this case. Choose close. So here's our default team. There's nothing here yet except for one channel called General. I'm going to cover that more in just a minute. And an empty place for conversations, and an empty place for files, and an empty place for a wiki. This is a default new team when you start off. It's all blank. Let's flip over to my account and we'll see what an existing team looks like.
Okay.
So here's my teams, and you can see that I'm a member of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, including our new Donut Fiesta sample team, which just showed up here. And some of these teams have multiple channels. Now the way it breaks down is basically a team is a group of people, and a channel is one topic of conversation. So each channel has its own conversation area. For example, let's look at this Millennial Managers group. This is a group that was created to help write a new library of training courses. Every team always has a general channel, so that's the channel we're in now. And you can see that we have a conversation, a chat area, that started way back in February. The nice thing here is if anybody gets added to the team later, they can go back and look at all the conversations that have happened.
Gotcha.
So they can pick up all of that knowledge. Nobody has to bring them up to speed on what's been going on. But then we have other channels. So for example, Archetypes, Milestone 1, Sexual Harassment course, and each of those has its own conversation area. So again, here's the conversation area in the Sexual Harassment course, and it's a whole different topic of conversation. So you can have multiple conversations and keep those separate so that even though it's all the same people, because it's all the same team, different people might be interested in different topics. It makes it easier to search, as opposed to Office 365 groups where it's only one conversation.
Got it.
Now, in addition to the conversation area, there's also a file area for each channel where, just like OneDrive for Business or SharePoint document libraries, you can upload the same sort of documents, and these are automatically shared with everyone in the team. You can link these to your local PC through the OneDrive for Business sync application. You would do that by opening this in SharePoint, because this actually is a SharePoint site,
Oh, okay.
and choosing sync, and that'll sync that same list of files to your local PC. So for now, we'll keep it here. I can create new files here. I can upload existing files here. If I want to reference a particular document, let's say this one, I can choose that and choose Get Link and copy that. That way, if I want to have a conversation and include that document in it, I can do that. There's also, for each channel, there is a wiki. So in our general channel, our wiki we actually renamed to Curricula Info. In Milestone 1, we renamed it to Format Discussion Summary. You can rename the wiki. It starts off by being called Wiki. So let's take our new team here, our Donut Fiesta sample team. If we want to have a conversation, I can just start typing and press Enter to send, and you'll see that same conversation on your side. I have all the same formatting controls that I do in most programs. If I click the little A button down here, you'll see they pop up and I get a little bigger window. So I can bold, italics, underline. I can change the color. I can put a headline in. So we can type it in. If I want to highlight something in a certain color, I can choose that. I can add links to websites, or I can also use this as an opportunity to link to that document. I give it the text to display, I give it the address, I choose Insert. Now I have a link to that document, but notice that because it's a different team, people will only be able to use it if they're actually part of that other team as well.
I see.
I can also choose to upload documents directly here in the conversation. So for example, if I click on this little paperclip, I can choose to upload from my personal OneDrive, my Dropbox if I've linked it to this application. I can upload from my computer, or I can browse other teams and channels that I have access to. So if I choose this, go up to a different team. So we can browse up. If I go to Millennial Managers, for example, if I go to the Summer School Projects, maybe I want to grab this spreadsheet called Course Subject Input and upload a copy. So now let's put a separate copy here. I'm going to go ahead and click the arrow to post this. Now a couple things happen. The file is here. I can click on it to open it, and it'll actually open in Teams. And I can choose to edit it in Excel Online right from inside Teams.
Oh, wow.
Now what's interesting though is I post it in the conversation. It's also going to be here under my Files tab. So anything you post in the conversation will also show up in the Files tab. It's an easy way to keep things all in the same place.
Yeah.
Some other stuff you can do with conversations just to keep things a little fun. You can add emojis. Of course, everybody adds emojis now. You can also add an animated GIF. So if you want to add that as a meeting, we can do that. We can also add stickers, which is a little cartoon.
Just for if an emoji's not enough.
If emoji's not enough, and you can customize these with your own captions.
Yeah.
So apparently somebody's angry at you. Not really sure what that means, but I'll go ahead and post that to the group.
A lot of mixed messages, Chip.
It is a lot of mixed messages. Now, something else that's down here, notice we have a meeting icon. This will actually start a live meeting with audio or video or both. We'll cover that in the next module. We have a couple of other additions we can add. We can add news, places, and weather, or a YouTube link. Something else that's important is, just like in any kind of social media, when you're posting to it, you can tag people.
Oh.
So if I do the @ symbol and start typing someone's name,
It autofills a contact.
it autofills it, but what's important about this is it will also notify you that you were tagged. So if I'm having a conversation and I want to make sure you know about it so you can come and comment on it, I probably want to tag you.
Got it.
So this is all me posting in the team. Let's go see what it looks like from your view now.
All right.
So here's your view. You're seeing everything that I posted. You see the spreadsheet. You see the emoji, the GIF, the sticker. Notice that when you got tagged, there's an @ symbol out to the right to let you know where it is.
It says you were mentioned when you moused over it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you had not been in Teams when this happened, then up here under Activity, it would show, you could go straight to Activity and see where you'd been notified. So click on this and it'll take you to that point. So for example, if we look at mine, if we go to my activity, I can see that Ben made me an owner of Donut Fiesta Sample Team. But if I go back, here's a place where I was tagged in this other conversation, and if I click on it, it takes me directly there. So that's a handy thing to have as well. Now, if a particular channel is important to you and you want to make sure you're notified anytime there's any post in that channel, even if you're not tagged, you can go to that channel, click the three-dot menu, and choose Follow This Channel. And that'll make sure that you always get notified anytime anything happens in that channel.
And that'll just ring that activity bell right there on the top left?
It'll ring the activity bell, but also if you aren't in Teams and don't log into Teams within a few minutes, you'll also get an email letting you know that there's been a post, and that directs your attention back to come look at Teams.
Oh, okay.
A big part of Teams is the ability to have chat, one-on-one and group chat, as well as meetings, as well as those audio and video calls. I want to talk about those some more in the next module. But before we leave this one, I want to talk about this search feature up here.
Yeah.
What's wonderful about this is this search box will search all of your teams, all of your channels, all of the files you have access to, all of your calendar invites, every conversation. So for example, if I type in the word access and press enter, it's searching across all messages that include the word access.
Yeah.
Also any people that had the name access, that'd be kind of a weird name. And any files that have the word access in them, which is quite a few as well.
Got
It's
it.
a really powerful search feature. And Teams itself is really powerful. There are a lot of different things you can do with it, a lot more than we can cover in just this little course. We do have a longer course that goes into more detail. Before we leave this module, let me show you one more thing. Within each team, let's go back to our Donut Fiesta sample team. Within each channel, notice this little plus symbol. I can add more things to this channel. And when I click on the plus, you'll see what my options are. I can pin a document. Usually it's going to be like an Excel document or a Word document. But I could also pin a website. I could pin a video. I could pin a wiki. I can integrate with third-party applications like Asana and Trello and Evernote so that everyone on my team has access to those through this extra tab on their connector. It's a great way to centralize all the information that your team needs all in one place. I can also add connectors. And connectors are basically services that can communicate with this channel. Connectors post in the channel conversation area, so you'll see their information right alongside the rest of the posts. For example, you might want a connector for Bitbucket to post whenever a developer on your team updates some code. Or you might want a connector for Google Analytics to post regular updates on how your website is performing. There are lots of connectors available to explore, although some organizations limit who can add connectors to each channel. If you click the three-dot menu inside any channel and see an option called Connectors, then you can explore all the connectors which are available to see if any might be helpful for your team. So that's an overview of teams and channels. In the next module, let's do a deep dive into chat and meetings.
All right, looking forward to it.